Today we're going to mount up a set of antlers using the Record Keeper model. It's our latest in the line. This particular model is designed for the people that just can't see themselves removing the antlers from the skull plate, or it's just a trophy class animal that they want to retain that trophy book quality and they want to keep it in the book. So this particular model utilizes that original skull plate, and we'll show you how to mount that up. We'll get started right now. Today we're going to mount this setup, which it came from a portion of Montana where the mule deer and whitetail cross over, and I have no idea if it's a hybrid or it's just a unique mule deer or what, but it sure has some great characteristics. And so we're going to mount that up and keep it on the original skull plate, and we'll show you how that works. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Okay, to mount this setup, the best way to do it, we're going to first cut off the excess skull material to make it fit in the notch correctly. The best way to do it, which I found works best for me, take it to the edge of a table, your workbench, lay it to where the antlers lay flat. You'll notice there'll be a section back here where it'll want to lay flat, right towards the base section, and clamp it into place. Use your Sawzall or a hacksaw or anything. Use the front, the burrs on each side, and cut directly vertical at a 90-degree angle towards the bench. Just use the burrs as a line of guide, and don't cut through them. Just use that as your front area. Okay, now we have that cut made. We're going to want to cut exactly a 90-degree angle going back along the bottom of the burrs. So we'll go ahead and hold the antlers in this position, flat with the surface you just cut. And we'll cut off, right using the burr again as our line, we'll go ahead and cut the back off. Okay, now we have them cut. It's a 90-degree to the front of the burr. It's a 90-degree to the back of the burrs. Carefully not to cut the burrs themselves off. Now, the next step will be to mount it to the top section. As you can see, it fits pretty darn nice. Right into the top of that piece, right into the notch. It fits pretty nice. So we're going to go ahead and drill through the bottom, and I'll show you a close-up of that. You place your antlers and skull plate into the notch, making sure it's evenly spaced, nice and snug. Take an 1/8" drill bit and go ahead and drill through the mounting holes all the way through the skull plate. Okay, your kit comes with some number 10 by 1 1/4" screws, so we'll go ahead and mount the top section, to the skull plate. Go ahead and hold it in there. Use your hole you just drilled. Now we've got it mounted to the top section, and we're going to start applying the epoxy putty to finish this transition out. We want to smooth that out, make it real nice, and then we'll have to put the suture back in the top of the bone. We'll be using once we get the epoxy putty, and I'll show you how to do that, but we'll just be tying this line in here, this is a suture line in the skull, and bringing it back and making an imaginary one in the fresh epoxy putty. So let's go ahead and mount this to the bottom section. Again, you use the screws that this kit comes supplied with, number 6 by 5/8. So go ahead and flip this over. Snug them down. You just want to take the play out of the two pieces. You don't want to twerk it down and cause it to get out of shape or anything like that. Just snug it down. Grab the other one, install it. Okay, now we have it all assembled. The next step would be to blend this portion in with some epoxy putty. Your kit comes with several applications. Go ahead and start with about a 1" piece. Cut it off. All you have to do to mix this is knead it between your fingers. I like to go ahead and add a little bit of water to my fingers just so it doesn't stick, and it helps just really work together nice, make a nice creamy putty. Just mix it really well. That's the key. You don't want to have any unmixed portion that's going to take longer to dry or cure. So go ahead and mix it up real good. And then we're going to push it around all the joints on the skull. We're going to push it in all the areas where we need to blend in. So we're going to start by pushing it in. You don't want to put it all over the place to start with. First, you just want to get the main areas that you know you have to hit. The more transition area you make, the more you're going to have to paint later on. So I really like to work it in, make sure I'm going to have a nice solid fixture. Any play left over from putting the screws in or not a perfect fit, no reason to glue it or anything. This epoxy putty will do everything that any kind of glue or adhesive would do. Right about there is pretty good for the first set. We're blending it in, we're starting the process. So go ahead and let this set up, take a few minutes, 15-20 minutes. We'll come back and we'll mix up another, about a 1-inch piece of the epoxy putty. And we'll go ahead and finish it out, blend it up nice, and the next time we'll go ahead and put the suture in over the portion of the new epoxy putty. Blunt end on it, and I'm just going to go ahead and keep the tip wet and go ahead and draw that in. And it might take several times to get this exactly right. Just keep watching the clock because you only have about 15 minutes to work with this epoxy putty before it cures. So go ahead and get it through here. Get the front to the top of the skull. Once you get to the top of the skull, the sutures split and go down each side. So we'll go ahead and get the top, we'll stop, and then we'll turn it around and we'll get the back section. I've already started to put these in so you can see what I'm doing, but maybe close up. Once we get the top of the skull from the front, now it splits into two and cuts down diagonally across the back of the skull. So go ahead and draw these in. And like I said, if you do it a couple times and you smooth it out with your fingers, you might fill some of these back in, and just go ahead and clean them back up by moistening your pencil or your nail or whatever you're using, and go ahead and follow that suture line and run it back out. Okay, continue to work it, get it all smoothed out. Any little high spots, really work around the pedicle area, make sure you got any high spots taken care of. Really work it nice and smooth. These areas here with the little divots here in the skull where the nerves come out through the hole from the top of the skull, keep putting those in. They need to follow up the top of the forehead a little bit to really make it look natural. Just keep working it, work it. This is starting to go off, so this is starting to get hard, so I need to finish with what I'm doing here. And then we'll let it cure the rest of the way. Okay.